This is Belle Hernandez Castillo, your host for Hollywood Talks. And this morning, I have the pleasure of speaking to the three creatives of a new play called Rise at the Company of Angels Theater. And it talks about Boyle Heights. Now, Boyle Heights is now known for its historic Chicano American communities. It's also the bastion of Chicano culture. And back in the 1800s, it was also known as the Ellis Island of the West Coast, providing homes to European and Asian immigrants, Latinos, and African Americans. And the play we are about to talk about is called Rise, and it's a poignant journey throughout the decades of an African American woman born and bred in Boyle Heights. As the neighborhood evolves, this love story unfolds and ties that bind to her, unraveling the tragic mystery behind her unrelenting resolve to never leave. I want to welcome Kimba Henderson, the playwright, director Lui Sanchez, and artistic director of Company of Angels and producer for this play, Armando Molina. Welcome to you all three. Thank you for joining us here. And I am so excited when I found out about this play because I actually grew up in Boyle Heights. So let's get into it. Louise, uh, tell us about you. Where did you grow up?
I'm actually originally from Tucson, Arizona, and but I moved to Los Angeles via Santa Cruz when I did my undergraduate work there, and came to Los Angeles in 1984, the closing weekend of the Olympics. So yeah, introduced to a city that had nobody around.
Right. And
Um,
Armando, where are you originally from?
I was born. I was born. I was born in Colombia, but I was raised in New York City, and came to Los Angeles in 1986, and proceeded to enter the theatrical scenes of Los Angeles through and then. How do I say this? Co-founded a group called Latins Anonymous back in the late '80s, early '90s, and
Very well known. I'm a big fan.
thank you. Yes. And here I am as artistic director of Company of Angels in Boyle Heights, and trying to present works that are reflective of the demographics of Los Angeles. And so, really excited about presenting Rise by Kimba Henderson.
Awesome. Kimba, tell us where you are from, where you originate from.
I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Both my parents were in the Navy, so me and my siblings were all born in different cities. But I grew up in San Diego, so I'm a Southern California girl.
Oh, yes, yes. It's always really nice to know where people come from, and especially with this project because you're melding all of your past experiences and an immigrant experience as well, and then just coming and bringing this all to the table. And the reason I was so excited is because I grew up in Boyle Heights, and I went to a high school where there was, I would say, like 90% Latinos, but there was more African Americans and Asian, and I think literally three Anglo people in my high school. So I grew up, around Black, Asian, and of course Latino. Um, and I lived in Boyle Heights until I went off after high school, and I knew that it was a mixed kind of that it had a history of different kinds of people because where I lived there was a mosque and there was still the Jewish community was there, and they made friends with us. So I knew that. I didn't know about the African American connection, although obviously there were people living there because they went to my high school. And I don't know if you know, but Will I Am
Mhm.
was went to Roosevelt High School, and he was just at the LA Classic. So with that all in mind, tell me about the story of this African American story that you wrote, Kimba.
So I was really, I did a lot of research. And so what really kind of came to me with this piece was, um, it was like everyone that I spoke to they would like light up when they talked about their time in Boyle Heights. A lot of the African American people that I spoke with, and then even just my research. And so really, what I kept asking myself was, why did people leave? I mean, it just seemed like this was a multicultural haven that people loved, and they loved living here. So that was kind of the question that I was asking. And so we focus on a family of a woman named Emmeline. And so her parents come from Texas. She's born here in 1925. And you get to really see through several scenes, kind of as the play goes on, why she loves this place, even through dark times, how it brought her joy and love and satisfaction and things that had she lived somewhere else, she probably would not have experienced, which I think is what makes Boyle Heights such an amazing neighborhood, because I think her experience in lots of ways unique, but it's also, I think, will relate to a lot of people. So it's really about her and what binds her here, why she loves it here, good times, bad times that we all have to go through. But I think it's a very unique and special story. So I'm excited to have people see it.
So you say you did your research, you went out into the community. Armando and Lui, did you also do that? Did you also take trips to I'm sure, Armando, you've been there before because you probably performed all around there as well. So you all have a favorite restaurant? Is there a favorite restaurant or a favorite spot that you like in Boyle Heights, Lui?
Yes. Well, I mean, of course, La Parrilla, I think is the what is
Oh,
there?
La Parrilla. Yeah.
Yeah, the one is that every time my parents come and visit, we go there.
Yeah.
But that was certainly some of the things that the play opened up to me in terms of, I've always, while living in Los Angeles, I've always known about Boyle Heights, and certainly when the company moved over to the Boyle Heights area in 2016, I was able to become more familiar with Boyle Heights. But this play has certainly has brought me to different places in Boyle Heights that I wasn't aware of, and it's just it's really nice to partake into that and get and see all the richness and the diversity that exists here.
And Armando, where did you move to near Boyle Heights?
I'm in Highland Park right now.
Oh.
So I'm adjacent. Yeah. My wife, Evangeline, she was born in White Memorial, and she co-founded East LA Community Corporation. So we've had a deep, and long-standing relationship with many aspects of Boyle Heights. Of course, I was hanging out. Well, I think he sold it by Manuel de Lage restaurant Cafe Fina. Is it Cafe Fina or Fina?
Oh yes, Casa Fina.
Casa Fina.
Yeah. I try to go there as much as I could to support him, and of course the Padilla. And there's a birria place on First. Oh my gosh, what's the name of it? It escapes me. And then there's
media place.
A birria. And there's also this on Cesar Chavez. It's like a breakfast place. We hang out there a bit, and actually recently met with Miguel Santiago. That was wonderful to hang out with him. He's our local assembly person from the state. Yeah. So do a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. So I'd like to understand like the trajectory of getting a play. I know it takes time and you got to research and you got to put it all together. So when was it that the Company of Angels decided to partner with Kimba and Lui come in and produce? When was that? How long has it been in the works, and how did it get to you, Armando?
It's almost like 2 years. We started a conversation and we said we wanted to do a story from the point of view of African Americans in Boyle Heights. And we recognized, and others who we spoke to recognize, that's a little known aspect of the Boyle Heights story. You mentioned up top that it was Boyle Heights is the Ellis Island of Los Angeles in that regard. So over time, many African American, Japanese American, Jewish, Latino, of course, most recently and since the 40s, at least, have gone through, have called Boyle Heights their home. And so we held what we call story circles with former and current African American residents of Boyle Heights.
Yeah, Kimba, when did you come on board? After after 2 years?
Yeah, it was. So they kind of came to me. I got an email. It was like, "Hey, would you be interested in writing about Black Boyle Heights?" And I was like, "You had me at Black Boyle Heights," because I was one of those people who had no idea that there was a Black presence in Boyle Heights at any time, because my knowledge of Boyle Heights is going to Casa Fina and going to these places, and so for me, hearing from like Armando mentioned, the story circles were really important. We had a couple of those, and then just a lot of the research that I ended up doing, a lot of documentaries, read a lot of different. For me, I would read actually newspaper articles from back in the day, and up to present time, to just see how this neighborhood changed, and it was just absolutely fascinating. But what it really came down to for me, when we talk about something being the Ellis Island of the West Coast, or Los Angeles, how did all these people come from all these places live together, safe, feel this place was their home, and thrive? I think that's very difficult now. It's very difficult to see a really integrated neighborhood where people really share their lives together. And so I think it's such an important time and an important story, because I feel like we could learn from a lot of these residents that lived through Boyle Heights, or lived in Boyle Heights through these decades, and found that kind of common humanity and that honor and respect of each other's backgrounds and faiths and culture and language, and celebrated each other. I just think it's astonishing and lovely. So that's kind of what I came to see and want to write about, and was so inspired by. So it was really hard to just nail down a story, because I was like, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. But I think once I really got down to this character Emeline and her story, and wanting to see her family and the people she loves and the people that she inspired her, it was really helpful to kind of just kind of tell her journey in an exciting and compelling way.
So Lui, now let's get to the story. You're directing this play, and you've got to work with all the talent, and how are you navigating the story? Tell us about the dynamics, a couple of dynamics that happen in the story. Tell us about your cast. What's the size of your cast, and give us a little insight.
Well, the nice thing is that Kimba has provided a really nice structure to the play in order for us to be creative about it. So we go from 2016 to all the way back to 1944. So there's a span of decades that we're going to reflect to it in the play and bring that to life.
That's amazing. So you go through decades. That's a big undertaking, because you've got to play with the looks and
Yes.
the jargon and all. How many people are in your cast?
Yeah, so we have a cast of 8 members. It's a cast that represents various ethnic and cultural representation. So definitely we have African American cast members who are the center of a lot of the play. But we definitely have characters and actors that represent the Latino culture, as well as the Jewish and Caucasian characters that were present throughout Boyle Heights.
Can I do a shout out to the actors just by name?
Definitely.
Yeah, so we have Markhum Stansbury Jr., Bernadette Speaks, Sherrick O'Quinn, Julianna Stephanie Ojeda, Doug Kaback, RaeAnne Carlson, Justeen Butler, and Miles Bryant. All of them play multiple characters, like Lui was saying, African American, Jewish, Latino, Japanese American. So it's all represented in those through the interpretation of those actors. And again, they play more than one role, so it's very challenging and exciting.
Yeah, and for an actor, it's great, to differentiate between the two characters. So remember, everyone, Rise runs from October 6th through November 5th. Performances on Friday and Saturdays. And get your tickets now before they sell out. I think this is going to be very popular, because so many people know about Boyle Heights for so many different reasons. And this is just one more reason to know the richness of Boyle Heights. So any last words you want to talk about the play? You want to tell us why you're excited, and everyone should go.
Everyone should go for sure. The thing that might help them is if they go to www.companyofangels.org. companyofangels.org, one word, .org, companyofangels.org. You can look at the schedule and click on the purchase tickets button and come on down, see the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Sounds
would say too, we do have shows on Sunday as well. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mhm.
And for me, my last words kind of are, this play for me is really it's a love letter to Boyle Heights, an extremely lovely and unique neighborhood. So I'm excited for people to see it.
awesome. Louis?
It comes from the heart because we're reflecting on stories that actually happened in Boyle Heights, and so come get a renewed history lesson about Boyle Heights. You'll enjoy it.
And this is exciting. This is theater. If there's no experience like theater, and go get some of this richness and also an eye-opening experience. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Louis, Kimba, and Armando for joining us. And we'll see you there on opening night.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Val.
much.
Thanks so much.